Okay, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Summer 2025 Academic Personnel Hiring and Processing webinar. My name is Eric Cuevas. I am lead HR Operations Technician with the Office of Human Resources. And joining me today is a couple members of the Office of Faculty Affairs. We have Albert Alcazar. Say hi, Albert.
Hello, everyone.
We have Yesenia Estrada,
Good morning.
and we also have Kim Posen McConnell.
There.
All righty, and so I have quite a bit to cover with you all in regards to academic personnel and academic student employees. So let's just go ahead and get started. In case anyone has any questions, the chat feature will be open for today. Um, we'll have some designated points throughout the presentation for questions, but we will ask just for the sake of brevity for the presentation and also just to kind of keep everything concise, to keep the majority of your questions for the Q&A portion at the end. Yes, let's go ahead and get started here. So yeah, so as far as agenda, I'll be covering some important dates and deadlines, and then I'll be transitioning it over to faculty affairs to go over you know uh, salary information, appointment letters, cancellation of appointments, certain types of stipulations in regards to summer term employees, as well as entitlements, and then as well as workload and additional pay. Then we're going to transition it back to me so I can speak about the PARs and the low enrollment calculators that we have available for calculating the summer faculty rates, and as well as a review on using the summer module. Allow some time for Q&A. So let's go ahead and move forward. So dates and deadlines. So for this summer 2025, the academic dates are for summer session one, that is from May 27th to May 19th. From May 27th to August 19th. That's 12 weeks. And then so session two and session three are also 6-week courses. So that'd be from May 27th to July 8th for summer session two, and then July 9th to August 19th for summer session three. Um, and yes, so there are a few holidays to keep in mind. Just want to remind everyone that yes, we are going to be, uh, Juneteenth will be observed as well as Independence Day, which will be a Friday, July 4th. Okay, and for summer 2025 faculty module date, so the module will be open on May 1st. So that will be, you can see here the dates, the pertinent dates there. Just a reminder, the academic work days for session one are 59 days, not 60, which is usually the amount that we normally have for the 12-week session. So that means that session two is 29 days. However, session three will remain at 30 days. Also kind of outlined the faculty pay calculation date. I also refer to it as the census date, for you to figure out, at this point, once kind of census is kind of kicks in, then you'll know that if any of your faculty members are not enrolled in, or sorry, if they have a low enrolled course. Um, Sorry about that. There's technical difficulty here. For a low enrolled course, that's when you'll be able uh, to create the PARs and send them over to HR. Um, as far as the module keying and approval deadlines, kind of wanted to keep it the same as in previous years. So for sessions one and two, we're giving you until the last Thursday and Friday, respectively, of June to get those all keyed in. And then for session three, you have until the end of the last, Thursday and Friday of July. Let's see here. And yes, as far as PARs, we're just asking you to submit it. I believe it's the Friday before payroll cutoff for those respective pay periods. So for sessions one and three, that'll be August 15th. And for session two, that'll be July 18th. Session two is usually paid first, or not usually, it is paid first. And sessions one and three are paid in August. I also listed the pay days for your convenience as well. So for summer teaching associates 23, 24, and monthly graduate assistants, the 23, 25 job code, those are hired via PAR, not through the summer module. We are asking that you send it via PAR, just because we're able to kind of capture the hire and the separation at the same time, make sure that they're not overpaid. You send it to your operations technician, and then we'll process it. And this is paid on a monthly basis, reflected on MPC, as opposed to summer faculty, which is paid in one lump sum at the end of the course. Yeah, I just kind of provided some dates and deadlines there for summer TAs on the left, and then for monthly GAs on the right. As far as when we need those PARs due for summer TA, wanted to align with the start of the semester. And for monthly GAs, just wanted to provide, when, once you submit those PARs for them, when they can be expected to be paid for the time worked. Just want to provide a reminder that for summer and for submitting payments, there are two separate systems for the departments to enter these transactions. So for what we're going to be referring to, for the most part, it'll be the Solar HR summer module, and I'll provide kind of like a more of a step-by-step on how to use it. But this will be for entering your summer session courses. So you can enter in and use job code 2457. There's also another system that is for additional pay, which I know Yesenia will be covering in the later slide. But yes, for any state and extended learning additional pay work, you need to enter into pre-authorization prior to their effective date and use the appropriate job code to pay those out. I just want to ensure that and remind everyone that there's two different systems for different kinds of pay. But okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to, I believe it's Albert, correct? You're going to be covering
Correct.
the first
Correct.
part? Okay, so on salary and appointments. Move to the next slide.
Yes. The appointments and the compensation for summer is when you have academic year faculty who are just continuing faculty from the previous academic year, in this case 24, 25, the compensation will be at the 1/30th rate. The same with department chairs. There's a calculation where basically you take out the chair stipend and you divide by 15% to get to their academic year salary. And again, it's also paid on the 1/30th rate. And then in the next couple of slides, we'll go over what that looks like. Any new faculty, they're hired in the 2457 job code. And so this is the minimum as to what you could hire the new faculty, 1,101, and the maximum range is 6,084. If you can go to the next slide. Okay, so those that held the prior appointment in 24, 25, these are the job codes that you can hire into 2358, 2359. Those are the lecture positions. 2360 and 61 are the those that are the tenure line, right? Tenure track, probationary, which are basically your assistant, associate, and full professors. And I mentioned that it'd be paid on the 1/30th rate. So this is the calculation of what that looks like. You take their full-time monthly academic year base, you multiply that times 12 for an annual salary, and you divide that by 30. That's equating to what they would have taught in an academic year. In other words, like all faculty, the maximum units, or let's say full-time base is 15 each semester. Hence, both semesters is 30, right? So this is what it looks like. Then what you'll get is you'll get what the unit rate is, and then you're going to multiply that times the units, right, that they're teaching. In this case, it's the weighted teaching units. And that'll equal what their total salary would be for the course in the summer. And just an example that you can see below there, take the monthly times 12 divided by 30. That'll give you the unit rate, and then you multiply that times however many units the course is, and that will be your total compensation. Okay, if we can move to the next slide. Okay, for chairs, I mentioned you take away the stipend, and when you take away the stipend, basically what that gives you now is you're in the 12-month rate, right? To get them to academic year rate, to calculate that, you divide that by that 15%, which is 1.15, right? That will get you to the academic year salary, monthly salary. You multiply that times 12, right? And then divide it by 30. So it's the same principle. Multiply times 12, divide by 30. Then you'll multiply that rate times however many units they're teaching, and that gives you the total amount, right? So this applies to chairs, but also 12-month faculty. With 12-month faculty, you don't have to take away a stipend because they're not a chair. Only chairs get the stipend. So basically, what you'll do is you'll just divide by 15%. Okay, and the example there below, 9,412. We're taking away a $305 stipend from a chair. We divide that by 15. We multiply that times 12 to get their annual salary, and then we divide it by 30, right? And then we multiply however units are teaching, and that'll give us the total compensation. So one of the things I want to say is if you have a chair or 12-month faculty, you'll have to complete a PAR, right? You're not going to do this through the summer module. You're going to complete a PAR. You're going to submit it to the additional pay email. Also, the PAR, and I think the PAR now calculates how much vacation time that's going to be needed. So let me just give you an example. If a chair or a 12-month faculty is teaching a 3-unit class, there's going to be an overage. And so to cover that overage, and I can tell you just off the top of my head, it's 16 hours. So it's going to go over this 125%, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that is. That's the workload or that faculty can work up to. But for chairs and 12-month faculty, they're going to be slightly over by 16 hours. And so that equates to 2 vacation days. So we'll have to take 2 vacation days to subsidize for that overage. And as I mentioned, I think the PAR now calculates that automatically in terms of the vacation day that would be utilized. Is that correct, Eric? I think it calculates it.
It does.
Okay, perfect. Okay, if we can go to the next slide. Okay, so all classes for summer are subject to enrollment-based compensation. So what that means is that if a class has 20 students or more, right, the faculty member is going to get 100% of their salary. For each student that's less than 20 students, right, it's going to decrease by 5%. So their salary is going to lower by 5%. And as you can see from these examples, the lowest is going to be 13 students, right? That's going to be the minimum. So, they could essentially get paid up just 65% of their salary. And again, and I think this is all earmarked for census date. And then noting here the PAR will need to go to HR, depending once you know how many students will be enrolled in that class. Okay, if we can go to the next slide. Kim, I will turn it over to you for this slide.
Yeah, so you might have a question in the chat. Oh,
Sure.
Oh, no, yes, he's got it. Thanks, Yossi, for being on top of it. Okay, great. So in that case, I'll go ahead and talk about academic student employees. They're a great way for students to gain academic job experience, and we're super happy to have this program. So here you'll see the ranges they can be hired. I will not read the numbers out loud to you, but you can see these are the ranges. Teaching associates, TAs, are paid per month. Graduate assistants, GAs, are paid per month. Instructional student assistants, ISAs, are paid per hour. Now, if you're like, wait, who is who? Like what do these things mean? I will give you some mnemonic devices to help you remember, though this is not the official way to remember. The official way to determine who does what, who's who, is in the classification standards. Classification standards are posted on our website, so it's CSUN Faculty Affairs Academic Student Employees tab, and it lists very specifically what each job does. But because I like you, I will give you some mnemonic devices to help you determine who's who. So teaching associate, you could think of it like being more similar to a lecturer position, but they are not lecturers, right? They are TAs, but this just might help you kind of keep track of who's who. Graduate assistants, you might think of them as being more similar to a research assistant, but they are not, quote, research assistants. We do not use that term, but this might just help you in your mind think of, the different responsibilities. So just a little shortcut to help you remember. We could all use shortcuts. For ISAs, a shortcut to help you remember might be similar to a tutor. So not a lecturer, right? Not a research assistant, more similar to a tutor. They do have tutoring as part of their responsibilities, but it's not exactly that. Again, look at the classification standards for the exact ones, but I hope that is helpful to you in thinking, who's who does what. So I mentioned our Faculty Affairs website, the ASC tab. On that tab, you will also find the position openings. That form is called ASE1. When you are hiring for an ASC, you fill that out, send it to me, Kim. I look at it, approve it, and post it on our website, and students can go apply. You can send it to Faculty Affairs, the email address, or to me. One important thing, remember that these are academic student employees, and so they're unionized, right? Union 11. So an important point is please do not put other duties as assigned on the ASC1 form. To help you remember that, think of the movie Captain Phillips, which stars Tom Hanks. In this movie, Tom Hanks's character is on the boat with his crew when they see a pirate ship approaching and the pirates are going to attack them. So Tom Hanks rounds up his crew and he says, "Okay, men, I know this is going to be tough, but the pirates are heading towards us, so we all need to band together to all help fight the pirates together." And one guy raises his hand and goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. My union contract does not say anything about fighting pirates." And you know what? He was right. So in the same way, our student, yes, I'll get to you, Karen. Our academic student employees are unionized. So do not ask them to do other duties as assigned, only very specific duties. So do not metaphorically ask them to fight pirates or literally ask them to fight pirates either. Okay, next slide. So appointment letters are required for all faculty and ASEs. The appointment letters do not go to us, Faculty Affairs, they go to Human Resources, and the ASE signs them. For Unit 3 faculty, lecturers, so forth, that's a conditional appointment based on enrollment. For Unit 11, it's different. TAs are conditional. Remember how we said they are similar to lecturers, so it's conditional based on enrollment. GAs, a little more similar to research assistants, right? Not conditional. So if they run out or something changes, you can find alternate work for them. ISAs, also not conditional. If they run out or something changes, find alternate work for them, or their schedule can be a little more flexible because they're hourly, right? So the appointment letter templates, right? Not the job posting. The appointment letter templates are found on the HR webpage. Different thing, hiring or advertising and then hiring. Okay, next slide. And because you know how much I like shortcuts, I have developed this flow chart, the 11 steps of hiring Unit 11 academic student employees at CSUN. I made this chart as a hopefully easy way for you. And why, yes, thanks for asking. I did not major in graphic design in school. I don't know if you can tell by this lovely stick figures and so forth. I won't go over it here, but this is on our website up at the top. So you can just follow the flow chart as to what position you are hiring. It's got some reminders on there, cool stick figure. I hope that is helpful to you. I think next slide, I think that might have been my last slide. So let me answer Karen's question. No, I think this is still me. Okay, let me do this. I'll get to your question, Karen. So for cancellations, for faculty and TAs, remember their conditional enrollment. Remember how I said TAs similar to lecturers, not a lecturer, but similar. The appointment may be canceled based on budget or enrollment. For faculty, they are paid for their time up to the cancellation. Also, the faculty member, Unit 3, right, may withdraw through the second class meeting if the class has fewer than 20 students. So that's in Article 21. You might want to review that when hiring lecturers. Okay, so for GAs, remember, similar to research assistants, if the class is canceled, you need to find alternate work for them. I would say GAs are the most important one to remember, that they definitely need alternate work, help with different research projects, so forth. ISAs, also not conditional. They are hourly, right? So you can either find alternate work for them that is in the classification standards. Remember, don't fight pirates, do something else that's in their wheelhouse. Or, their hours are adjusted. So just have a conversation with them if something changes. You can adjust their hours as needed. Okay, I think that might have been my last slide. So let me answer Karen's question. So I do not have any late breaking updates on that. For student assistant, that would be not Unit 11, if I'm understanding your question correctly. So that might actually be more an HR question. This Unit 11 is unionized, so forth. Also, what you might be talking about is we did have an update about Unit 11 sick time. That is in a tech letter. And let's see, we sent that out some time ago when it came out. I will forward this to you, Karen, although I think that is not exactly your question, but I'll forward you about Unit 11 sick time. But I believe you're talking about student assistant, not ISA, SA, student assistant.
I was talking about both.
Oh, okay. Okay. So great. So I'll go ahead and forward you this about Unit 11. For student assistant, I might refer you back actually to human resources, because that would be not Unit 11. It would be something else, TBD, right? And not as yet
So
union.
yeah, bargaining unit 15, but yes, we're still waiting on more information from the chancellor's office before we can confirm anything, Karen. Apologies on that. Just have to be patient.
Hurry up and wait. Yeah. So I think that was my last slide. I believe it's over.
Yes, next is, let's see.
There could be me. We'll see.
I can talk about that.
Mhm.
Okay, so Article 21, just want to put this on your radar. And I know that some of our department ASCs do help the chairs with with courses and who's assigned to what, who's a Y3, who's a Y1, who's an S1 during the academic year. So just a couple of things, just to put on your radar, and something you might want to share with your chairs. So as a campus, the campus has to meet a head count of 41% of courses offered, and so in summer there's order of assignment as well. And so that 41%, what we recommend is that all departments offer to their probationary and tenured faculty courses first. Um, and if there's still work available, then it's also an opportunity to meet entitlement of those lecturers whose entitlement wasn't met in the academic year. And so, and again, the contract speaks to this part here, and this is why, we want to go over this. So again, just as a rule of thumb here, probationary and tenured faculty should be offered courses first. In the order of assignment for summer, there's volunteers, administrators, or teaching associates. That's the second level. So that follows what the academic year outlines as well. So then you can offer to Y3 or lecturers, and as I mentioned, whose entitlement wasn't met in the previous academic year. And then if there's still work that's left over, then you can offer it to Y3s, Y1s. I would say first, and then lastly, I would say S1s. And this is considering like the Y3s and Y1s whose entitlements have already been met in the academic year. And lastly, any other candidates, and what I mean by that is, any new people, right? Any new people that maybe were in your pools, and you still have courses to offer, and they're available. You can, that can be courses can be offered to them. Um, so we can move to the next slide. Okay, and now that we all know that courses for summer, they all move to state support. And I mentioned order of assignment, that's all applicable. So also entitlement may be applicable if it fits the appropriate scenario. So state support, we're saying that you're going to be using job code 2457. 2357 was self-support, but like I said, everything's moved to state support. So I mentioned entitlement. Uh, Courses in summer may reflect or let's say change entitlement, but I highlighted the three cases here where entitlement could change for a faculty member. Now, entitlement is based on 2 consecutive semesters. Okay, and it always begins with fall. In the first example, if a faculty member taught fall and also taught spring, then that's going to be the entitlement for that academic year. Okay. Uh, in example number 2, we have the faculty member teaching fall, spring, and stateside summer. So, because mentioned that it's always the first, or let's say the 2 consecutive semesters, and we always begin with fall, we're going to look at fall and spring to determine the entitlement for that faculty member. We're not going to count stateside summer. In example 3, we have 2 consecutive semesters, spring and stateside summer. So in this scenario, and absent fall, by the way. So in this scenario, we have 2 consecutive semesters, and the contract speaks to looking at spring and stateside summer as 2 consecutive semesters. So that will determine the entitlement for the next academic year. Example 4, 5, and 6, there is let's say, a gap, right? They taught fall, they didn't teach spring, stateside summer. This person is going to remain basically an S1, right? If you have a Y3 is a Y3, a Y1 is basically going to be a Y1. In example 5, it's just the opposite of fall. They just taught one semester, so typically they're just going to remain in an S1 status. And S1 stands for 1 semester faculty. Y1 it means 1 year contract, and Y3 means 3 year contract. Okay, and then we have example number 6, fall and stateside summer. Well, there's no 2 consecutive semesters there, so typically they remain in S1 position. The only time that they move into, or let's say a Y3 position or a Y1, are in cases, and I'll speak to the Y3. Let's say for a Y3, in order to be eligible for a 3 year contract, you have to have 6 consecutive years that the faculty member has to work at least 1 semester in. So if this is maybe this is their 6th year, and that's the eligibility year. So this is where entitlement plays into a Y3 contract. With a Y1, you have 2 consecutive semesters. So let's take example number 1, fall and spring. Let's say fall is their first semester, spring is their first semester. Well, in those 2 semesters, they're an S1. Going into the next academic year, they're going to be a Y1, right? Because they worked 2 consecutive semesters. They earned a 1 year contract with an entitlement. So, but anyway, if you have questions about this, I mean, I know it can be a little confusing. Feel free to reach out to me, separately from this, or maybe questions at the end. I could probably answer some too. Okay, if we can move to the next slide.
And I think that might be all for you,
Is
Albert,
it?
and we're going
Okay.
to move on to Yessie's portion.
Okay. The additional employment policy, or better known as the 125% rule, applies to the summer term as well. That means that AY faculty can work up to the 125%. That is equivalent to 74 days and a maximum of 12 units allowed for the summer session, and that is among both state and Saint College. Department chairs and other 12-month faculty are allowed to work up to 125% as well. So that is a 25% overage that calculates to 15 days. And this is for work that is non-teaching. 12-month faculty who are teaching a 3-unit course over the summer are not allowed to do any other type of additional work. So they must decide whether they want to teach a course or complete other additional work. If they are teaching a course, vacation time must be charged in excess of 10 hours of work per week over the 12 weeks, as Albert mentioned. PARs will be required to process the teaching work. Please make sure to send these PARs over prior to the end of the summer session, and they can be sent to the additional.pay@csun.edu email. And preferably, if you could send these as an attachment, that would be wonderful. The vacation time must be included in the PAR, and it will be automatically processed by HR. Next slide, please. Here are a few reminders. Non-exempt staff that are hired as instructors will be due overtime pay, and that is for any hours that are above 40 hours per week. For faculty cannot work during the summer term, and rehired annuitants are limited to 960 hours of work or 50% of their time base preceding retirement, whichever is less, within a fiscal year. This is why we recommend that they reach out to our office to determine what their work limit is. The system will prevent entries for faculty on any leave status. So if you have any requests for a employee that is on leave, please make sure to send these over to our office. We will need to review these before processing. And again, these will need to be keyed on our end. Next slide, please. Here we have a visual of the summer session. You can see how many units are allowed for each session. And at the very bottom, you'll see a list of maximum possible workload scenarios. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our office.
Question.
Yes, give me 1 second.
Okay.
I see a question from Ellen. Hi, Yessie, if a tenured faculty will be FERPing this fall, can that faculty still get additional pay for the summer 2025? Please send me an email. I will have to review their retirement date, and that would answer that question. Thank you.
Do you want to answer Anita's question?
Yesenia, that additional .pay@csun.edu email, so you don't want it through DocuSign. You want it emailed.
For the PAR form,
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you, Eric. You will receive the following prompt when you are entering a new request for the summer term. This prompt is referring to teaching being completed in the summer module, so job code 2457, not Saint College. So make sure you answer this question, because otherwise the system will not allow you to move along with the submission of the request. If the employee is teaching during the summer term via job code 2457, next slide, please. You will see the following table open up. You will need to enter the number of units that they will be teaching for the corresponding session. The system will then calculate the number of hours and days that are available for the rest of the summer session. Unit for summer courses through same college are entered using job code 2322 or 2363. So these should not be entered in this table. We are just wanting to know the number of units that are being taught on the state side, basically. Next slide, please. Job codes used for same college EXL cohorted courses, job codes 2322 and 2363 are processed through same college or EXL. Any questions regarding these job codes, please contact Sylvia Argueta in same college. If changes are needed in the additional pay module for the summer term, only our office will have access to make changes. So please send your requests over to our office. And these can be sent to additional.pay@csun.edu. Sorry. We also have guides and resources available on the Faculty Affairs webpage on the following link. Anita, do you have another question? I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
The slide before this that showed the module with the 3 summer session dates,
Yes.
and then you key in the number of units.
Mhm.
So if I've got a faculty member teaching session 2 and 3, can I enter them at the same time?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, definitely.
thanks.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
Another question, please, Yesenia.
Sure.
So you know that chair stipend,
Yes.
you want us to just email you and request it? Email you or who do we email?
Or if
Yeah,
you
you
have-
know what? You can reach out to me if you want directly, or to our faculty.affairs email account. Either way, I'm going to answer it. So, reach out to me. Your DFO is also a resource, that you can reach out to. But either way, I mean, you can reach out to me directly, and I'll provide you with that.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Are there any other questions? If not, I'm going to turn it over to Eric.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes,
you,
and thank
Eric.
you so much, Faculty Affairs team. We're going to turn it back over to academic personnel processing. So more my wheelhouse. So try to go through this. We're nearing the end, so this will be a kind of a brief portion, and we'll kind of leave it open for questions at the end. But wanted to go over what is available for the departments in order to process these summer faculty, and especially because they have, these 1/30th rates and other, specific scenarios that apply during the summer. So what's available are PARs and for corrections and for some of these transactions, as well as the low enrollment calculator. I'm going to start with the low enrollment calculator. I'm going to have to navigate out of this presentation real quick, just so I could share what that would look like. So just give me one moment while I pull that up. Start with the summer rate low enrollment calculator. Can everyone see that? Or is it still showing the slide?
We can see it.
Okay, fantastic. So let's just say we have a faculty member, rank 3. So let me just change this to the AY base salary, which would be 6221. So we're going to enter in their AY base salary. Let's tab over, and then it already will calculate their 1/30th rate. There's also a little tooltip here that kind of explains, what the calculation is kind of happening, and kind of tells you to check out the enrollment-based compensation explanation at the bottom. But it'll do the calculation for you. And all you have to do is just enter in their AY base salary for the faculty member, as well as change their units. So let's say they're, it's teaching 2 units for, session 2. then it gives you the total pay amount. Now, this is kind of where it would end, just so you're aware of their summer rate. But if you need to do, after census to figure out if they're low enrolled, and to adjust their pay accordingly, let's just say, there's only, maybe, I think it's 18 students. So let's put 90%. So what does the percentage of full pay do? I change it there, and then it'll automatically reduce the rate with that consideration. So then you already know what will be the total based on their units and what their unit rate reduced would be. This would be helpful when you're preparing the PARs to send over, specifically because you won't be able to enter this in via the module with this adjusted rate. You'll have to submit the transaction and then send us over a PAR, or short of that, you could just send us over the PAR and we can just transact on your behalf if you already know that, if you're aware that there's going to be a low enrolled course, or if there needs to be an adjustment, you could send it over via PAR. Let me pull up the other calculator here for department chair specifically, and 12-month faculty. All right, so everyone can see that? I'm hoping yes. They can see the, say, department chair at the top.
Yes.
Okay, great. So yes, so kind of similar to the way this is handled. So adjust the monthly salary. You just need to ask Faculty Affairs, with the tooltip here, the department chair amount is unknown. Please contact Faculty Affairs. You can either call their main office or you can contact Albert, as he mentioned previously. Let's change this to we'll just say 120, something like that. And so it'll give you their rounded full-time AY salary rate. And then it'll use that to calculate the 1/30th rate. Then you just need to adjust the units, and kind of gives you the total amount. And same thing, if this department chair, class that they're teaching is low enrolled, then you'd also need to adjust it here. There's also kind of like a fail-safe here. If you try to add, I don't know, let's try to say 50%. It'll say percent below minimum allowed, increase percentage, and tell you to refer to the grid below that kind of explains what we've been explaining, that it goes to a minimum of 65% of full pay at 12 students or less. But yeah, so let's just change this back to 65. Let's put it back to acceptable value. There you go. So yeah, this will be helpful for you when you're filling out the PARs. Now, as for the PARs, we're going to try something a little different this time around, where I've, taken upon myself to kind of adjust most of these PAR templates over to a PDF format. Now, I wasn't able to do it to all of them, unfortunately. So unfortunately, the department chair PAR and the summer TA PAR are still going to be on an Excel spreadsheet, but I think just about the rest are fine to be moved over. So let me just go ahead and share what it'll look like. Because I'll be in the HR toolkit, I'll be posting a box link for you to access these templates. So let's take a look here. See if I can share this. So yes, so it'll be a link that'll be available to everyone to find their template. Just take one, for example. It'll look kind of similar to this. It's loading. Oh no. All right, well, we'll just open it just to show you what the template would look like. Okay, let's share that. So you'll be able to access the PARs via box, and then they'll have this blank template here available to you to kind of fill out, kind of provided some details just so you know what the usual scenarios kind of come up. In this case, it'd be the class is canceled due to low enrollment. So yeah, basically, kind of have to fill in the details here, obviously change the information to match for the specifics for your department and for your employee. And you just need to fill out the job section here and then send it over for signing. So this is all now a fillable PDF. So it'll be available to you via that box link that I'm going to have posted. So I'll share that link. Okay. Let's go back to the presentation here. Yes. Okay, I should be back to the presentation. Can everyone see that? See the slide again?
Yes.
Okay. Q. So yes, so as far as I know, this might be a review for most, but for some who are new, in case you need to know how to access the summer module, I provided just a short little guide here. So when you log into your CSUN portal, in the top navigation bar, you can select HR, and then you would select in the drop-down HR admin, which will take you to this page. And from here, you would select summer session faculty. That then takes you to the summer session search page, where here you'll be entering, relevant data for your department, for your employee. Enter in your department ID. You would select the job code. In this case, it would default to 2457 and the session. Now, important thing to note, if you're a faculty member, we'll be teaching multiple sessions. So let's say they'll be teaching session 2 and session 3. You have to do them in numeric order, or else it'll cause an error with the system at this time. So, submit session 2 first and then session 3 in that order. That way there's not a need to submit a par because like, oh, I submitted session 3, but now I have to submit session 2. Again, that's only if you're aware of that situation. In the case that, it just wasn't possible, then please send over a par. Then once you fill that out, it'll take you to the faculty search results page, just kind of asking you to confirm the details, make sure it's the correct employee, their employee ID. You can also click more info to see, if they had a previous, or to see their current role or previous role in their primary position. In this case, it's a part-time lecturer, be able to kind of see those kind of details, make sure that's the correct person, and then you hit select, and it'll take you to the next page, where it'll kind of provide the employee's name, their biographical data, but then at the bottom is really where you'll be editing the job data information. So kind of give you the department ID, job code, their position number, and all that kind of pertinent information. But here you'll be adjusting the paid units, and if applicable, the unit rate. The unit rate will kind of auto-populate if the summer department is the same as AY. So, if it's a psychology professor and they're going to be teaching a psychology course in under 2457, then it'll automatically populate. But again, this will not calculate for those who worked fall but were not active in the spring. In that case, you'll need to use that calculator to figure out the rate and then insert that amount into the unit rate section. There's any other situations here. If you need to adjust it, or in the case of, one course is going to be low enrolled, but the other one isn't, you would send us over a par to handle that type of situation. Because I know that has a potential of happening as well. But yes, I believe that is it.